Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson presents guest host clairvoyant medium Jessica King, Clairvoyance and Crystals.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. I'm your host. And today we have a wonderful woman on today. Her name is Jessica King. And Jessica is going to talk to us about crystals because I've always had an interest in crystals. But I don't know jack shit about them. So I brought on an expert. She's an expert in a lot of things. I met her through a friend of mine who I did an interview with, and she put me in contact with Jessica, and her and I have had a few conversations, and we talk a lot, and I found out that she knows a lot about crystals. So I'm gonna shut my mouth at this point, and I'm gonna let her tell you who she is and what she does. Take it away, Jessica.
So I am Jessica King. On my page is Clairvoyant Jess, I was actually not a believer in the crystals. I was when I first came in connection with them. I thought it was all a bunch of bullshit. So I'm just going to be honest. A friend of mine gave me one, and I was like, "Okay, thanks for the rock." Appreciate it. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this, but along with a clairvoyant medium and a natural healer. So, the crystals have been something that after they had some pretty interesting effects in my life, and some pretty interesting stories that went with it, I became I guess it drew me an interest.
Sure.
And after I started kind of digging a little further into them and drawing closer to them, Spirit told me at one point, "You're going to read the rocks." And I was like, "What? How do you read a fucking rock?"
I've read some rocks over there from that place that I saw that I call the rock garden, that most people call a cemetery. But yeah, it's a rock garden because the only thing you're doing there is doing the ceremonial of the digging of the hole and dropping in the box because...
Right.
Yeah, that rock garden is, I tell people all the time, don't let that rock be the marker. You be the marker, you know?
Yeah.
So, because no one's they don't need to visit you there. They can see you anytime they want to. All they have to do is talk to you because I don't know too many people who are living who hang out in cemeteries, and dead people don't really hang out there either, you know? So, but they are around.
Yeah, you'll find every once in a while random stragglers, I think, that got lost along the way and is somehow it's still there. But
Yeah. Yeah, because they want to hang out with a bunch of rocks and maybe find another dead person there. But
right.
But that's an expensive rock garden right there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm sure.
Actually, at this point, it's now taking up every room in my house, but so mine's an expensive rock garden too. My son asked me the other day how much. He was like, "How much do you think?" I was like, "Let's not ask stupid questions, okay?"
Yeah, because don't ask questions that you don't really want answers to. Because, so do you have not just crystals throughout your house, but do you have certain or particular crystal grids that you keep within your house as well?
Yeah, I currently have 3 grids in the house.
Just takes the whole house.
Yeah. I've got one in my wealth corner that's for its purposes, for prosperity and abundance and things like that.
Sure.
So I've got one there. I've got one on my desk. This little small mini one that is actually made more for my intuitive connection and guidance. And then I have one that's over on my larger display cabinet that's a Archangel Metatron, and it is a protection grid. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do you visit each one of those throughout your day, or just certain periods of time of the day, or you just have it? It's in the house.
Forget it.
And it's going to put up all the energy combined into the house all at once, and you're just always going to get it.
Right. Yeah, it's just a set it and forget it process. I think it's just like a manifestation. Put it together and set it, and set the intentions of what you desire, and then let it go. Because the more you hold on to it, it's you're acting like it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing over there by itself.
Sure. Do you ever feel as though when you're out and about around people that you're like, okay, this is draining enough. I need to get home so I can get back in my home where I can get some energy?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore. I did at the beginning of my gift. I mean, that was when I was really struggling with them. I mean, just being out in public and all the crap that would come, especially as a medium, I mean, you
Yes.
know how that is. And, but no, now that I actually have set certain boundaries with the spirit realm as to when they can come and have that conversation with me,
Sure.
it doesn't, it's not nearly as weighing anymore.
So you're one of those people I know, like that are able to like turn it on and off like a light switch.
Yes.
And is there a way that you just is that something you just practice and you go okay, or I mean, and when you do that, do you ever have any like a straggler spirits that come in and try to get through anyway?
Yeah, well, this is going to sound, I guess, strange, but it's the way that I've learned, and it's even the way I teach students when they're starting to develop gifts and they're not in control. Is I really honestly sat down and I wrote a letter to spirit, to the realm of spirit, spirits, and made a certain guidelines, because I would wake up with like people in bed with me, and I was like,
Sure.
okay, look, guys, this is awkward. One, I'm trying to sleep, and you're in my bed.
Right.
Or they'd be shaking my bed, or, I would be walking through Walmart and they'd be like, hey, that, and I'm like, and my son really got really upset, a little over it. Cause I mean, him being young, he was like, Mom, please do not chase that person down and start talking about their dead aunt or whoever.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, I can't help it. Gotta go. We'll be right back. Hang on.
Yeah, because when these spirits have something to say, they really have something to say.
Right.
They want you. They know that you're one of those people who can bring somebody a message, and they're going to bug the crap out of you until you actually say that. Because if you even try to avoid it, they're like, oh my God, and then they're just going to bug you more, like regular people do.
Right. And so I set the rule that unless I'm at work in my office, it is that unless it is a situation that is a 911 or that person would not receive it any other way.
Right.
No, the light's off.
Yeah,
the doctor
because
is not in.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I myself, because of what I do and all that stuff, and talking with angels and all that stuff, they want me to remain open all the time. I'm open for business all the time, but some people I find, or they tell me, I will ask them, okay, is this person, do you think, is going to be open to me telling them? And they will let me know if that person's going to be open. But other than that, if a spirit comes through and says something to me, I'll say, well, hey, the person you're trying to get me in touch with isn't open to this. They're going to be freaked out. So sorry, but you're going to have to wait.
Yeah, I've had some. And I mean, but yeah, like the neighbor the other day that, just was like, hey, I've got a random question to ask you. And I was like, sure. And I was like, glad you've got a random question for me, because I've got something for you too, man. And I literally have not seen him since. That was 3 weeks ago. And it was from his father, but he was like, okay. But I knew that it wasn't something he believed in, but it was one of those things that I told Spirit, I was like, when they come to me and they have something that maybe makes our paths cross, then I'll bring it up.
Absolutely.
Whether they believe or not, they'll believe, after that moment. So it's,
yeah.
Deliver the right messages for them. But I try not to impede that kind of stuff on others, because I almost feel like it's like that creepy perv in the corner of a, at a party or something like that.
Oh, you're talking about me? All right. Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, if you're the creepy perv sitting in the corner, I mean, it might fill up somebody that's not asking for it all of a sudden.
Sure.
That's what I feel like it is when you start connecting with people's either energy themselves or even their spiritual, connection. So that's why I said I just made it to where it's like, if it's a 911 or if it's a situation that you feel like they're not going to make that any other way, then please, I would be happy to. And I've done it in all kinds of, public places and at random, because I know it had to be done.
Yeah, I just did one. Recently, I was at a car show, and the girl, the bartender there, she likes me to stay at nighttime because I see a lot more things at nighttime. And I've talked to her for about 2 years, so she gets me and all that stuff. And she always wants me, hey, can you stay? Can you stay? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I did that a couple of weeks ago, and then I saw this guy, and And she said, what's he look like? And I described him and everything. And she says, do you get a name? And I said, I don't normally get names, but all of a sudden, boom, a name came in. I said, yeah, his name is James. I said, she said, is he for somebody? I said, yeah, these two people down the end of the bar. Actually, the guy, he's here as a spirit guide for him. And she's like, you think I should go tell him? I said, well, if you don't want to, I will, but sure, go ahead. She goes down, and she's there a couple minutes, and all of a sudden I hear the girl go, oh, you mean Jim? And I saw, I yelled down, yeah, James, but Jim, yeah, that's okay. And they said, yeah, that's our friend. He died 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I go down and I introduce myself. I said, yeah, my name's Daniel Jackson. I see dead people. And because when you say it like that, they just go, oh, you know. But
yeah, that's kind of the way I go with it, too.
Yeah, it takes it out of the way. And then I just started describing him. As I'm doing that, the guy's flipping through his phone, and he comes up on this picture, and he goes, is he in this picture? Even after I described him. And I said, yeah, he's this guy right here. He said, yeah, that's my friend Jim. He died 2 years ago. We were really into racing together, and I still race cars, and I have one of his cars. And I said, yeah, he's here because he believes that he says you're his son. And he says, that's kind of strange. I said, why? He said, because every time we would go somewhere, even though I'm not his son, he would introduce me as being his son. And I said, there you go. And as soon as I started saying that, his wife started bawling her eyes out. And then I said why he's here as a spirit guide for her and all that stuff. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And then the people at the bar, they're all standing around. They're all doing this. Yeah. You know, like, holy shit. Like, I can't believe this has come. And then I turn around and look at them. And I look at my friend. She's like, that was crazy that you got all that stuff. And I said to her, yeah. Do you know why? She said, why? I said, because I can't make this shit up. That's why. Because,
no, you can't.
Because it's real.
It is real, and it cracked me up. I mean, some of the stuff that they give is so, some of it, of course, it is very touching, but some of it is just some of the funniest shit, and you cannot make it up. I mean, like, I had a session that, they were like, I was like, what do you want me to say to her first? And he was like, ask about the time I made her piss her pants. And I was like, that's what you want me to open with?
Yeah. Because people who know, the ones who are that close to them are going to know what that means, and that's what's going to stick into them and go, yes, this is actually happening. Yeah, and because I'm told that, my guys even tell me that they say, spirit loves a good joke, and I'm like, okay, so, you guys must love me because I'm always got something coming out of my mouth that comes out of my mouth like freaking diarrhea, But they seem to love a good joke, and they still talk as though they are regular people. Why? Because they are regular people. That's all.
Yeah. That's the same when I have people call and they're like, I think it's a demon in my house. I'm like, more than likely it's not. So you probably just have an asshole in your house.
Yes. Yeah, because you had an asshole who was in there before. You just called him your husband, but now you have a dead one.
No, you're the dead one that's an asshole in your house. And so, I can count on one hand how many times it's been a darker, lower vibration energy. Yeah. The rest of them has all just been, you got a dick that's here. So he's a jerk, and yes, we'll go ahead and take care of that. Yeah,
because where they are in that particular place that they are, or realm that they are, especially in the lower side of things, if they're not crossed over and they remain here, they are allowed to, if they want to come back and antagonize you, that's what they're going to do. So, and if they don't like you being in their house because they consider it their house, they're going to do everything they can to make sure you get out of that house, or just antagonize the shit out of you. So people don't get that. No. They're people.
They are.
Yeah, they're all people, and some people, as we have them here in the, what we call the living world, some of them are just walking around totally assholes all day long, and people don't get that. Oh, well, how do they get? How can they? Well, it's where they are. And if they decide they're going to be that way, that just like you decide you want to be the way you are, they're going to be assholes too. So yeah, people just don't pick up on that. But hopefully they'll pick up. But everybody thinks it's a demon in their house.
Yeah, I'm like, sorry, probably not. Like I said, one hand I can count. I've been to plenty. Then it's not as common as what it happens, and yes, it can, but it's just it's not as common as what I think when people start just dealing with a nasty spirit.
Yeah, I see the real negative ones all the time. When I see them, they come through. They're actually red, and they show their face to me, and they try to put some scary face in front of me, and I just look at them and go, well, I'm protected all the time. You can't even come near me, so just go away. Or I'll get my friends here, the archangels, to mojo your ass away. And then they look at me and say all these nasty things. And I go, okay, all right, fellas, hit it. And then they go after them, and I see these big globs of white light come out of nowhere and start attacking these things and making them go away. And I said, I told you to go away, but you won't listen to me.
You wouldn't listen, yeah.
No, they don't like to listen because that's what they are. They're negative. They're always going to keep trying to be a pain in the ass or trying to get energy from you as well. So, yeah. So the crystals. Let's get into the crystals a bit here, because I got a list of crystals that I showed you earlier, and you basically said it's bullshit because they always give the wrong descriptions of what these crystals are, which is what.
Yeah, hang on. Let me pull that picture back. I was going to see because it's just I guess comical or not comical. It's sad. I mean, because so many people do want information about the stones.
Yes.
And so much of them are giving information that is it's either poor imagery quality.
Yes.
Or the fact is that it's a very broad, like the one the image that you gave it says quartz at top. You can tell it's a light pink stone. That's a rose quartz. I mean, so and with that, it's talking about let's see, what was it on there that said the description?
Yeah, because this picture that I have, they all look like they're some type of jelly bean. So. And if I was going in a store and saw these, I'd start chewing on them, but. Yeah, and
the interesting thing is that I mean, it's talking about like reduces stress and all these other things that it has in there. Well, the thing is that if you have a rose quartz, a clear quartz, or what type of quartz you're dealing with, it's going to all have different properties.
Okay.
And just like the same thing, I guess, with the agate. I mean, it depends on, are you dealing with a banded agate? Are you dealing with an agate that, what color the agate is. I mean, because they're going to all have different concepts. The bottom right.
What was that again? What did you call
the
it?
agate?
Oh, okay.
There's so many types of agate. I mean, and so agate is such a generalized term, and each type is going to have a different purpose for it.
Right. That's why I'm having you, the expert, on here, because I think people do get just this generalized thing, and they pick up one agate here or another one there, and they think it's all going to do the same thing.
It's all for the same thing. And I'm going to, and I guess the thing that I like to, just tell everybody is that because the woo-woo realm, or just where we are as a culture, everybody's like, oh, I need a crystal for and all this other stuff. And they're thinking like this is going to also, these stones are going to resolve like all of life's problems.
No.
These crystals are phenomenal for a support.
Right.
They're great assistants. It's like having a toddler help you in the kitchen. Okay, so I mean, it's some help, but possibly can also be a train wreck if you don't do it right.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. When in the spirit as well too. Whenever I do a reading, or I've done readings for people, I had this lady who said she wanted to go on a bunch of cruises and all that stuff, and I said it's not going to happen. And by the end, after I done the reading, she was like, well, I thought they would just come in and fix all this stuff for me, even though because she spends all of her money. She has money day to day, and she has her credit card. She says, I thought they would just come in and fix that. And I said, they're not here to fix your life.
They're not going to fix your shit.
Yeah, they're here to ease you through your life the best you can. But if you screwed up your life, it's up to you to fix that.
Yes.
Yeah, but people don't get that. They think that these are some magical beings that are come in that are going to make. Everything is rainbows and unicorns, going to make everything disappear.
It won't. And I mean, I'm a part of a lot of different, I guess, crystal and gemstone pages that are for like beginners and things like that. And every once in a while, I'll see a post that I feel like I need to respond to. I mean, because I see some randomness in there. And there was a young lady that was on there, I think it was just yesterday, and she was talking about, she was like, what crystal do I need for this? And it was pretty much trauma, self-sabotage, and and emotional distress. And I was like, and everybody was and I was like, look, and I just responded, I was like, look, honey, I said, I could throw an entire bag of crystals at you, and I said, and that's not going to fix your problem.
Right.
I was like, so the crystals will support you through you going through and actually dealing with your emotional baggage and your bullshit.
Right. Yeah.
But they're not crystal going to fix it.
Yeah, the crystal she needs is called knock it the hell off. That's what she needs. Yeah.
I mean, it's pull out your baggage and deal with it and heal.
Yes.
It's not going to, this rock is not going to be your cure.
Right. You're not going to touch the rock and everything's going to go away. She has to, in order for that to go away, she has to decide to let it go away.
Right. And so that just seems to be such a misnomer. People are like, well, I got these stones. And I'm like, congratulations. I mean, I could, put you in the middle of a freaking rock quarry and it's not going to fix it.
Right.
You're not dealing with the actual situation. But there's also, so a quick tip for anybody, I guess, that's new to crystals and would, they're picking up crystals when at different crystal shops and things like that. One of my favorite things to do because, we all love go with what you're drawn to. That's always my number one tip.
Yes.
Number two is that you need to make sure that when you hold the stone, when you pick up a stone, if it is not colder than the room.
Really? Okay.
Then you've got a fake. It's a man-made stone or you've got a lab-created rock.
What if you like picking up on women and they're colder than the room?
Maybe they had a bunch of Botox and they're lab created also.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've met, back when I was dating, I met a bunch of cold-ass bitches, that's for sure, because, they were just crazy cold, and, every red flag. They walked around with a red shirt on because they were so full of red flags, but, yeah, because, yeah.
And and there are some that are man-made but if you're at a crystal shop that is legitimate and they are truly I guess of a higher reputation, it'll put on there like stones like opalite. Opalite is a man-made stone, and so it should actually have in like parentheses, and they can have their benefits to them, but you don't want to go in and purchase a bunch of stones like amethyst and quartz and all these others, because the thing is that the stones the reason that they have, I guess, the help that they can offer is from their vibration, which is the energy and what they emit. It's not going to emit that because of it not being man-made. If it's not, if you're unaware of that, especially, it's not, and their value is not there either.
What are they making them out of if they're man-made?
That's a great question, and a lot of them are just synthetic materials.
Mm-hmm.
They're created in labs. Literally, it's like grown in a lab.
So they're just putting them out there like anybody else is putting them out there just to sell junk.
And I'm going to tell you, that eBay, Amazon, and TJ Maxx, a lot of these Ross, 90% of the time, those are some of the worst offenders. As far as
the big selling places, though,
and they're big selling places, and I have, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? And they're like, well, when I talked to one of the ladies that was at the gym counter, or the jewelry counter, and I was looking at some stuff the other day, and I was like, you do realize this is lab created, right? I don't know, and I was like, I handed it to her, and I said, I know you don't. I said, but I do. I said, you feel how that feels? Just the same. It's not colder than the room. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, you got a fake stone there.
And she
didn't know. And it's understandable. She wasn't trained on that. She's, working retail as,
right.
an hourly employee at that point. But, a lot of those major people that are, if they're doing mass distribution, that's what you're going to get.
Sure.
You'll get those, or you'll get heat treated stones. A lot of times citrine, is people that get citrine or get amethyst that is been heat treated, and it'll be sold as citrine.
Why did they do heat treating to them?
When they heat treat it, it actually changes the composition of the stone so that it looks like a different type of stone.
Gotcha.
So there's all these different little
stone marketing, right?
Yeah. So I always just say, there's a ton of great, smaller places that you can get them from. And there's even groups on even Facebook that, you can join into that. It's these small little local, that they're actually being, bought, they'll tell you exactly what mine they came from. They'll tell you, where it was brought from. You're getting something legit. They're not going to bring up all of these things. And then, you're dealing with a fake stone. So
right. So do your research on there before you go out and buy something.
Yeah. I saw something the other day that was, and also reading the descriptions, especially on the ones online. And I'm talking about, you have to read all the way down to the very, very bottom, because I have found it generally buried at the very bottom, the finest print, where it'll say lab created stone.
Hmm.
And I'm like, but no one else wants to read. But I was so committed and like, wanting to be the, crystal savior for people on that. And so I actually commented, I was like, hey, you going to tell everybody that the properties that you're saying this is being sold for aren't actually going to work because this is a lab created stone. You're not selling legit materials.
And their response is?
Nobody responded to me, but everybody that I guess saw my comment afterwards has loved it. So I'm like,
right, because you're being truthful, you're being real with them.
right.
But not everybody can handle the truth or handles that realism either. I went on. Somebody invited me to a page last night. It's called Third Eye Adventures. It was on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, and I accepted it. And then I went on there and started reading some of the posts on there. And I was like, so the girl said, oh, welcome on there. She invited me. And I said, oh, no problem. And I said, but I've already read some of the posts on here. And it looks as though I'm going to have to start educating people on here because they're getting a lot of things incorrect. And she said, oh, we don't like to do that because that's going to cause drama and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I'm not causing any drama. It's just
helping give them the right information.
Yeah, it's just a correction of thought. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then she banned me and kicked me off.
Oh, well, that's her. That's
yeah,
lovely.
which worked out for me just fine because I knew I was going to have to sit there and just rewrite everything for those people. But not everybody can handle the truth or wants the truth or is even afraid of the truth. So, but it has to be put out there because if they don't, they're just going to be buying a bunch of trinkets, a bunch of junk that's out there that's actually not going to do them any good. And they paid $50 for something,
Right. I mean, I had a lady that showed up one day that had a session with me, which I don't do very many in person. Most of them are done, like we're doing here, different platform. But and she brought a whole thing of them. She knew how much I love crystal, and she's like, "Hey, I got all these, but I didn't write down what they are." And then I picked them up, and I was like, "Well, you got a bag of fake stones. Is what you have." And she pulled out the receipt. It was like $300 she had spent.
Oh my God! Yeah, she might as well go spread them out in her driveway.
And I was like, oh my God. And she's like, what do I do? And I was like, I don't know that you can do anything. I said, but I would contact that store that you got them from and let them know and you want a refund or that they can issue you legit stones.
Yes. Yeah, because what do you do at that point? I mean, hopefully the store that you got them is they're easy to deal with and they are a reputable store and they will, but like you said, when you went to the counter and the lady, you showed it to her and said it was a fake stone, she didn't even know it. So maybe these owners are just going on what they are, the wholesalers are giving them as well. Right. They don't even know either, You're probably going to have to go way, way, way back to find
Now, if you go into like true metaphysical shops,
right.
9 times out of 10, you're going to be dealing with a good, it's a good one. So you're not going to run across that nearly as much with the metaphysical shops.
I went to a metaphysical store recently. I had a friend over who I did a podcast with, and she brought a pendulum. I'd never used one before, never really seen one. And she brought it, and she was closing her eyes and showing me how it works and stuff like that. And I said, hey, can I try that? And she said, sure. So I grabbed a hold of it. What was cool about it was, see, I find out things about myself all the time. I didn't know this one. I closed my eyes, and when I closed my eyes, I could still actually see the chain and the pendulum itself. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so I asked it questions like, is my name Daniel Jackson? And,
right.
and it swung back and forth and said no. And then one of the questions I said, am I friends with Jesus Christ? And it went frontward and backward and said yes. And I was like, yeah, of course, I know that one. And then I said, do I go by many names? And then it said yes. So that's why it wasn't. And I did that, and she was like, that's really cool. I was like, yeah. She goes, no, I mean, she said, I've been working with this thing for 5 years and you got it to swing all around first time trying. I said, because it has to do with your energy.
Your energy,
Yeah, your energy, it's your soul's energy. It's the energy around you that's causing that. Your energy may be different than mine. That's all.
Yeah. When I teach pendulum classes, I've had a lot of them that get, I've had to start prefacing. I'm like, look, yours is probably not going to swing like mine does. I was like, because of the energy level that I have, I said, I've had this connection with them from the first time I touched one.
Right.
And I was like,
Me too.
Other people, they're at a different energetic level, and it may
Yes.
take a little bit more work. But it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, or that
Right.
that your answer is any less than mine.
Yeah, but they just have to learn
It's like
learn
a
to
shot
work
of
with it
crack or
because
something.
it's different for everybody, and they don't get that. They think if it doesn't swing one time, they're going to like, oh, throw this thing in the drawer, and they're going to be done with it. But people don't realize that you have to work with it. You have to practice. You have to get familiar with these things as
It's a
well.
relationship.
Yes. Hello, this is Daniel Jackson of Beyond the Veil. We are proudly being sponsored by The Rare Enterprise. To really choose your reality, you must have the right tools to facilitate it correctly. The Rare Enterprise has amazing CBD-infused products to help choose your reality when it comes to your skin, emotional, and mental stress. Use the code BTV20 to get a discount on these amazing products. That is BTV20. Yeah, because it is. Yeah, they don't see it as being. They don't realize it is a relationship. Or you're having a relationship with spirit, or you're having a relationship with the crystals. You are. They just think they see because, everything's been ruined for us by TV and movies because.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they make all that crap.
So I mean, so gets so misconstrued, and I mean, it has people asking some of the most outlandish questions, but they don't even realize that they're outlandish because of how it's been perceived by the media. So
Right.
yeah,
because they want us all to look like we're all high-priced or high-end fortune tellers. Yeah.
Oh, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fortune tellers, not hookers. That's
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you do what you're good at, So, yeah, nothing wrong with a good hooker, that's for sure, But same. So, like as you were talking about with the feel of thing as well too. Like when I went to get my first pendulum, I went to a metaphysical store, and what I didn't know what to do. I said, you know what? Let me just put my hand on it, hold it, and see which one
draws
works
me.
for me. And that's what I did. And then what was weird though is I brought it home. You're going to find this strange, okay? I brought it home. I took it out of the bag. I picked it up, and the chain just went into pieces.
Yeah, I mean it happens.
I was like, "What the hell?" I picked it up, and when I held it and closed my eyes, I heard kink kink kink. I was like, "What the hell?" And I heard thud, and the stone is on the table, and the chain completely broke apart. And I was like, and it was all in little tiny pieces, not like a half or something like that.
Yeah.
I brought it back to the store, and I said, "Hey, I need to exchange this." And he's like, "What did you do to this chain?" I said, "I held it. I pulled it out of the bag, and it fell apart." And they were like, that one had the chain wasn't embedded into the stone as well. It had like a little cap on it, like it was glued to it. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, see, I've got multiples. Obviously, just because I think that you should have tons of everything.
Okay, yeah.
But so this is one of mine.
Wow, look at that thing, man. That's pretty.
And that one's the go-to. Now this one I hand carved.
Jesus Christmas. Now, how did you get that post in there? I mean, how is that? How did you secure?
This is wood.
Oh my God.
So I hand carved this one. It's wood. So I have also hand carved some labradorite that I did as a gift for somebody.
You're a whittler too.
Yeah. So I like to, but and I will say for anybody that I guess is interested, I don't know how, but there is the shapes that are similar to that.
Okay.
They generally have maybe some side to them or whatever, but this shape right here is the one shape that I will tell you to be cautious when you get, especially if you're new to pendulums. This is one of the fastest ones to break.
Okay.
So I don't know why, but I mean, I've had so many students that have, when they've got those, and then it just those break the easiest. So
is it the chain that breaks, or just
the actual crystal? So if they drop it, it'll fracture, and of course.
Oh my God! What the hell are they doing that's going to make that fracture? I mean,
well, if you can drop certain ones on the ground, and because of the shape of it, with that tip being pointed the way it is, it just is not a good one for the way for the stones. And I know that there's a bunch of people that just, I guess, also with a concept, if you're into the crystals, that, if it breaks, what do you do with it?
Yeah, what do you do with a crystal that breaks?
You return it to Earth. Now,
so does that mean you just throw it out the window and says, I'm done with you?
Well, no, not really. I mean, it's
like I did with my ex-wife? No, she did that with me.
Yeah, it's kind of like honoring the crystal and the work that it's done.
Okay.
But I'm really, I'm spoiled about, I don't want to throw them away. So I actually put mine in my houseplants. So, but it's still returning
that's good.
to Earth. So,
right, so you're giving back to the with the plants or with the whatever else. I mean, if you could throw them out or put them outside around a tree or something like that.
You can, yeah. Put them around a tree. You can put them in a rock garden. You can, if you
cemetery.
Sure, why not? I mean, they may enjoy it, but I've become very connected to mine, so I'm like, I'm not throwing you. No, I can't do that.
Right. So even if you have broken rocks, you still got rocks everywhere.
Yeah, I'll put them into the plant, or I'll put them into my little small little waterfall that's out in the in front of the door or whatever, so that at least they're still there, but I'm still honoring the work that they did. So
you're repurposing them.
Yes.
Oh, good for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a smart idea. Yeah, I see. I'd never heard of that. I didn't know that. I guess, because they are rocks and they can break or chip off or something like that. But I never thought about that. But I don't know if anyone else would ever think about that.
I don't know if I have. Okay, so interesting. Yes, they can actually even change in their certain crystals can actually change in even the way that they look from the work that they do. So depending on how much work you do with them, like this crystal right here, when I first got it, it was clear as ice. I mean, like you could see straight through it. It's super clear. And I don't know if you can see it now.
Oh, look how smoky it got.
Okay, so now it's smoky and it's got
that's cool looking though.
It's super cool looking, but it's one of those that so I had to retire it from my reading stones.
See, I didn't know that as well. So
I did that because I loved this one as far as the way it's always looked, and I did not want to overuse it, because when a crystal that has been used too much energetically, they can actually fracture on their own. Like I had one during a session earlier. I always send people a picture of my reading stones, and then I tell them to circle the stones that they feel drawn to, and send it back to me, and then I'll actually roll them like I'm playing craps in Vegas.
Oh, really?
And they'll tell me a story.
Awesome.
So how some people read tarot, I read rocks. But for the first time ever, I had one of the stones that actually fractured into 4 pieces during her reading, and I talked to her about the fracture going on in herself.
Oh my! What do you do when you have that? I mean, you say, okay, here's this stone for, and you go, oh, lady, you got some bad energy going on here.
Yeah, I was just like, oh shit. Well, let's talk about this.
Yeah,
it's crazy because I even literally have had them go into a triangle, and I was like, so you're involved in a love triangle currently? And she was like, I cannot believe that was how did you know that? And I was like, because the crystals just told me.
Yeah. The crystals just drew us snake eyes. That's how.
And people that are like OCD, the crystals get in line for them. I'm like, so your crystals just lined up. So are you just really ridiculously obsessive compulsive, or?
So I guess you can read them. That's absolutely, I wouldn't have thought of that. I would have just said, oh, is that pointing somewhere?
Right. Well, like I said, it was one of my girlfriends gave me some crystals when I first got into, I guess, this journey of mine. And I was like, well, again, thanks for the rock. And I stuck it in my pocket, though, because it was a protection stone, and I thought it was a sweet gesture.
Just weighed down your pocket.
And it was a small one. It was only, a little baby one. And I kept it in my pocket. And she, and then one day it started vibrating.
That's cool, I guess.
Started vibrating my kneecap. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? So I'm on the Googles looking for why my rocks are vibrating. It was a protection stone. It was like it can actually do that to warn you about circumstances that are to come. And I was like,
I get that. When I'm around women, some of my rocks start to vibrate, and that warns the shit out of me. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, I mean, just depending on the vibration, some of them could be good, others could be alarming.
So, so are you saying that's a good idea for maybe people should do that? Maybe they should put them in a pocket, and if they do feel that is vibrating, that is a warning to them.
It's a warning. Now, I have them in my bra. I call them my tit stones. But that's just where I kind of have found, because I don't always have pockets. But not everybody has that. Right here.
I thought you said your bra. I was like, holy shit, did she actually say that? So that's your boob pocket. That's where you put them. And you're going to feel that sensitivity, of course. It's against your skin. So, yeah.
The funny story is if TSA stops you, and they're like, man, what do you have in your bra? And I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, hold this rock for me. Here you go. Yeah.
They're like, you don't have to do that right here. I was like, it's okay. Hold on, here.
Yeah.
Not biggie.
Yeah, if you handed me one of those rocks, I'd be okay with it. Yeah.
But they're great to keep on you, and the energy, to have the energy around you. The interesting thing is that first time that happened to me, I said, that's bullshit, because if there was a dark energy here or something negative, I'd know. Right, you would have known. I would have known. Well, then my phone rang, and it was a friend of mine, and she says, my daughter has been playing with a Ouija board, and now she's dealing with some stuff at home, and
quit
I
playing
need to bring her to your house. And that was 5 minutes before, and it was 5 minutes after that rock had done that, and I was like,
yeah, you picked up on it, but people, if they're going to do anything, especially like Ouija boards, anything, they should really research stuff before you just walk into a Toys R Us and go, let me get a Ouija board and start playing with it and see what I can do.
I mean, they're all tools. I mean, and if they're used appropriately, they can be used safely. But that's the problem is that they're being marketed as a toy
yeah. And most people don't know how to use those tools because they don't know anything about this, or they haven't researched it. They just think, oh, I can do that. If I saw that person do it, I can do it. Yeah, no.
I had a house cleansing recently, and when I got there, she was like, by the way, she sent this gift from my mother when she found out that we had spirits in the house, and she's like, and I don't know what to do with it. It was still fully wrapped, and just the end was open, and it was a Ouija board. And I was like, your mother sent you a Ouija board for she was like, it was our housewarming present when she found out the house was haunted. I was like,
yeah, something's wrong with your mom.
I was like, that is
strange.
Okay. And she's like, what do we do with it? And I was like, just give it to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just grateful that it's not open and you haven't been playing with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because they just don't know what they're doing, or like people who like when I first found out about my thing and all this stuff, I had a paranormal group come to the house, and they got so much information, and they were supposed to come back and do a big giant reveal, and they never did. And when I got a hold of them, they said, we're not going to come back because we got so much information from your house. It usually takes us to get that much from 10 or 15 houses, because they use that ovulus thing. It wasn't just spitting out words, it was spitting out sentences, and it scared them. So they actually all quit the team, and they wouldn't come back to my house. And so they're supposed to be the professionals, and how are professionals how are they going to help you if they don't help you? So there's a lot of people who get into this thing who just have a fascination with it, and they think, oh, if I've seen it on TV, I can do that too. Yeah.
And that is another big issue in this industry, is the amount of people that are the paranormal groups and all these other things that are trying to jump out there and show you how to deal with all this stuff. And then these people that are like, oh, I can do that. I just need to buy this equipment and I'm good.
Yes.
You are creating a shitstorm and you don't even know how to get rid of it.
Right. And then when they have that shitstorm in there, then they don't know what to do at that point. Deal with it. How do I get out of this? What do I do? What do I do with my crystal that just broke in 4 pieces? And why did it break in 4 pieces with me? And they just figure, oh, nah, I'll just put it somewhere else in the house and everything will be okay. No.
Right. Well, and I mean, why did it break? I mean, now if you dropped it and it just was, one of those things, or did it break and it was one of I've had ones that have literally, I've been told about ones that have literally just shattered. And that was because but the shattering
Yeah.
That crystal was generally because it blocked a negative entity. Those you do not want to keep in your house or around your house. You
Right.
actually want to
Right.
go take those somewhere to some running water and get, throw them into that.
Or maybe it shattered, and then all of a sudden on the radio, Rolling Stones "Shattered" came on. So
Maybe.
maybe Shadoobie. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I didn't know anything about that. I've never heard of any of the crystals actually breaking or shattering like that. I just I mean, my wife has a crystal grid upstairs that we keep in the house, and then
Yeah.
she does put them outside to get them recharged as well, because
Yeah.
they do have to do that, correct?
Yes, I always encourage putting them out in the sun, get to recharge. Putting them out in a full moon, not in a full moon that's possibly going to be an eclipse. For the love of all that's holy, don't do that because you might.
Right. Why? What will that do?
Well, I mean, you have to realize that those eclipses are a very disrupted energy. So
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
charging your crystals in a very disruptive energy, and then they're going to come inside and they're going to be amplified, but it's going to be chaotic energy that they're holding on
Right.
to. So
Shooting yourself in the foot.
right. So I generally encourage, making sure that it's a full moon. It does not matter if the moon can be seen. Also, a lot of people have a misconception about the fact that, well, it was too cloudy or what. No, the energy's still there.
Yeah.
If you live in apartments or you live in a city area and you can't put it out in your yard or outside safely, you can put it in your window seal and it's still going to get the same energy.
Okay.
And if you're doing the moon, I generally encourage it to sit it into some sea salt and allow the sea
What
salt
did the sea salt do for it?
to absorb it, especially if you use the crystals a lot. It absorbs any of the energy that potentially kind of got that you're trying to get them charged, and releasing. So it kind of gives them a place for it to go into.
Okay.
So I generally would encourage, a clear dish or something that you can put them in with covering the bottom with sea salt, and you can sometimes cover the top if it's going to be raining, whether it be with like saran wrap or whatever, because there's a lot of crystals that if they get wet, you're going to come back outside and you're going to be very sad.
Why? What will happen after you get them all very wet and stuff?
Well, there's certain crystals that do not do well in water, and I generally think the ones that I would say, I guess the easiest way to have a general rule is if it ends in "ite."
Okay.
Like selenite.
Okay.
So don't put those where they're going to get wet. It may not happen, on the first time, but it will eventually. Or peacock ore is one that will, it'll, if it gets wet, it will actually kind of change its composition. But it's also, the stone name is chalcopyrite. So, I mean, it ends in the ite. So,
I just figured rocks were rocks were rocks. If they're out in the open, they're going to get wet. But if that's actually going to change it, then
it can't even fracture. It can't destroy them. Some of them can't even, you'll come back and they'll be dissolving. I mean, they're like melting like the Wicked Witch of the West, or the East, whichever one it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was married to her. You can find her under a house right now. But yeah, I got that. So it's got to, and if you're going to put something around, like you said, it's got to be sea salt. Can't be lemon pepper or anything like that. No.
Yeah, sea salt.
No.
Sea salt's for it's for purification. So
what do you do with the sea salt after you've just throw that out after you're done with it?
I mean, you can throw it out. You can, I have, you can rinse it down your drain. If you have any plants that do well with, a high, I guess any sort of salt or anything like that would benefit, put them in there. Let it to, benefit something. But it honestly depends. I mean, I've had certain ones that when I got all the stones off of it, that it looked like the stones had peed on the freaking sea salt. I mean,
really? Wow.
And I was like, okay, I'm not going to put this anywhere but down the drain.
Yeah, because you don't know if
obviously something was being energetically drawn from it. I don't want that to be, something that goes anywhere else and affects anyone else.
Right. It may have drawn out some type of other impurity as well. So
yes.
Yes, and you don't want to just go, oh, well, since it's sea salt, I could just throw it in my soup or something like that, because you don't know what you're putting in your body at that point.
Nah, yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah.
Or who wants to be peed on. No, I mean,
Right,
I know
yeah.
some people are into
Some
that
people,
stuff, but
they're into that, but
yeah, not my thing. But I don't mind doing the peeing, but that's okay because I'm an old guy and I have to pee a lot. But I get it. Is there anything else that we need to know about crystals that you think people should know that is like the go-to thing that they should know?
um, cleanse them when you first get them.
Okay.
Cleanse them. I mean, whether you use sound or a sage smoke or Palo Santo, whatever you choose to use to cleanse the crystal. People
Because
are
if
like,
they
what
were in a shop and then somebody else is walking in that shop with their negativity.
well, and you have to also think people are like, well, man, it just came from that shop, and that shop had great energy. Well, did you know the miner? Did you meet him?
Right, because he might be a piece of shit. You don't
Yeah,
know.
he could have been a piece of shit. I mean, and did you know the person that was that drove the transportation to actually get there? I mean, because he's still touching it too.
Right.
So just realize that all that energy gets built up on those. I mean, so cleanse them, and make sure before you start to try to, I guess, use them for anything that you've actually cleared the energy from them. And it doesn't take much of a process. I mean, just put in some smoke. I mean, sage smoke, Palo Santo, whatever you choose,
Sure.
to make sure that you do that. And you can, of course, charge them whatever, however you feel. But I can't even take my collection out at this point. I've given up. So
You've given up. Don't give up. Yeah, I
I mean,
get that.
it'd be like
but,
a SpongeBob episode, 7 hours later.
yeah. Yeah, that's my life. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, that's good. Well, that's all good for information. I'm glad. I thought I was going to come on here and talk about specific stones, but we didn't have to because you covered everything to make sure that everyone does their homework and to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing and knows what they're not supposed to be doing, which is good because not everybody gets that. They just think you just got to go to a store, you're going to grab a rock, you're going to stick it in your house, and everything's going to be rainbows and unicorns, but it's not. No.
Yeah. So, and don't question it. I mean, if you go to a store and there's certain ones, once you find the place that you want to go, just get them. I mean, if you're drawn to it, I've been baffled at some of the ones that I get drawn to, and then I don't even research them, and then I get home and I'm like, just see what's going on with this one, and then I like look at it, I'm like, well, no wonder.
Yeah, it's like going to the grocery store. You think you're going in for one item and you come out with a basket full. So,
Right.
because if you feel that you're drawn to it or they resonate with you, then that's the ones that you should go with. And don't take a second guess because that's probably your spirit guides telling you, yeah, this is the one you should get, and this is the one you need to have in your house. Absolutely.
Crystal Vaults is a great resource also for, if y'all are looking for like anybody that would be looking into like trying to understand or trying to read different information. Crystal Vaults has got an online crystal encyclopedia that is phenomenal and is very, very complete resource. So
is that a word down there where you live?
What, Crystal Vaults or
Y'all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is that a common word down there? I mean, I hear it here in Delaware, and people say it, and I go, "Is that actually in the dictionary?" Y'all?
No,
I don't know.
It's not.
No.
But if you're mountain people, it's yuns. If you're in the south, it's y'all. And then I think y'all, up there you say you all. I mean, y'all make it 2 words, and I mean that's just ridiculous. Let's go ahead and blend them all together and make it like that.
Right. Yeah, I get that. Or which do you consider yourself to be a south person, southern, or mountain person?
Oh, I'm southern. I mean, I've never lived in the mountains. I mean, I like going to the mountains, but
Sure.
nope. I'm definitely a southern girl all the way at heart.
And that works for you. I mean, you do have a nice southern accent. It's not I've heard worse. I've heard some really crazy ones that I've actually was supposed to go out on a date one time with a girl. She said, "Oh, I have a southern accent." It wasn't southern. It was redneck. And when she started talking, I was like, "This is
That's a
not gonna
different
work."
language.
Yeah, I was like, "This is not going to work. It's not going to work for me." I mean, she was beautiful and rode motorcycles too, but I was like, "Yeah." I just met a girl the other day. She's my friend's wife, and when she started talking, I was like, "What?" I just sat there quiet for a little while, and when she got done, I was like, were you born with that voice? And she said, yeah. And what? And there was this real crazy, and I was like, yeah. I said, how are your friends doing over there at the Yellow Brick Road? How's the Flying Monkeys doing? I said, holy shit. Would somebody please grab a chalkboard so I can listen to that instead of listening to this? Because this is murder. Yeah, I don't know how people do that, but luckily you don't have one of those voices. That's good.
No.
But yeah, I mean, but I would sit here and talk to you anyway because pretty good looking. So yeah, so I'm okay. Yeah, and you're very knowledgeable, and you're very smart lady, and you know what you're talking about, and you're very in tune with spirit themselves as well, and you do so. Tell me a little bit about that though before we leave here. You teach people. What do you teach them?
How to work with their gifts. So I work with anybody that's realized, hey, holy shit, I actually I'm seeing stuff that not everybody else sees.
Right.
So I work with developing the intuitives that know that they've got something. And they just don't know how to control it. They don't know how to, or they know they've got it, but it's almost like a backfire on a truck. They don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because they're kind of aware, but completely unaware of what's actually going on.
So, and there's just so much misinformation in this realm that I really became very, passionate about, whether it's group classes or one-on-one classes, trying to educate people on how to safely deal with your gift and how to really honestly, truly open up and start connecting to spirit and things like that. So I teach everything from mediumship to, I've got a class that's literally, it's all, everything and all spirituality. So I do a vast, scale of things when it comes to teaching, but focus predominantly on my mediumship and read my rocks. But it's whatever spirit opens the door and wants me to do at that time.
Absolutely.
I'm a willing vessel, and just tell me what direction to go.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'll be doing like the live show or do readings, and they come to me, and then as soon as they sit down with me or I'm doing a reading with, boom, I said, oh, you're gifted as well, and they're like, oh, well, I get these things here now. I said, no, you just don't realize what you have, and then I try to talk them through it and stuff like. Do you actually? So you say you have classes with them? Is that something that they can sign up for on your website as well?
There is a free consultation through my website.
Gotcha.
So there's a free 15-minute consultation for the group classes, but they can also register for the one-on-ones directly through my website. So if you do a one-on-one, but the other ones that are doing a group class, I have to kind of navigate what level people are at, so I can determine where I think they need to be, and what direction to kind of guide them in. So, yeah, because different classes are going to be at different stages, and I don't want to shove somebody into something, and then they are like either in over their head, or they're possibly they're ahead of that game, and then they paid for a class that was just not really where they need to be.
They didn't need to be doing. Yeah. I come across a lot of people who don't realize that they just want the cool part of the gift. They don't want all the work that's involved with it, and they don't realize how much of a life change it's actually going to be, because most people around you, what they don't know about, or what they are uneducated about, they are usually afraid of it, and then you find out you lose a lot of friends because of it, but you gain new friends within the business as well, and then you go through the whole ego death thing and all that stuff as well. So they just think, oh, you're gonna wake up one day and start talking to dead people, but it doesn't work that way. They really do have to go through it. It is especially that first year.
Dark night of the soul.
Yeah, it's a journey that they have to figure out how it works, and not only how it just works, but how it works for them, because it works differently for everybody.
Everybody, yes. Yeah. I mean, and there are people that and everybody can learn, but it's but everyone's going to have a different variance of gifts. It's how they choose to connect with it. I mean, it's
right.
But mine's been there my whole life. I mean, and so they don't they see the cool part of where I'm at now with it. But and the shit that I dealt with from 2 years old, seeing stuff that nobody else saw, and
same thing,
and the traumas and all the craziness and the things that I tried to I had to go through to open and close my gift, and then you're right. I mean, it is a lot more than what people realize they're signing up for.
Yeah, it's like when I was young, I played in a rock band, and when you show at the bar, everybody shows up and they just see the rock band is just there. They don't realize the rock band had to learn a bunch of songs, and then you have to deal with 5 other people and their schedules and all this other stuff, the crazy stuff that goes on with all of it. They just think you show up and that's it, and then you disappear, and then another one comes up the next time, and it's way more than that, and they don't realize how much of a dedication they actually really have to put into it. But it's like anything else. The more you get out of it is something, the more that you put into it. So.
That's right. It does. And I mean, and recognize that there is, it's not a burning bush moment. It's going to click all of a sudden. It's a growth.
Yeah. Yeah. And then learning to it. And then once you get those messages, learning to interpret them as well, because it's not easy to do that as well. Because I find that Spirit likes to bring me things that's very black and white when they say something. So when you tell somebody it's something very black and white, they think it's going to be some big, giant, grandiose story when it's really not. So.
Not all the time. I mean, you'll have those profound ones but I mean, it's not not that all the time profound. Like a burning bush moment that's going to happen. I mean,
not every message you're going to get is an aha moment, but it is something. I always tell people, you may not get the reading you want, but you will get the reading that you need. Yes, because it's different. Because they think everything's going to be unicorns and rainbows when it's not about that at all.
That's the reason I just put it on my website. I'm your no BS connection of spirit. I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to give you, I'm not going to get. This is not, love and light, and I'm going to, shoot rainbows out, up your ass. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I don't walk around and tell, like some of the ones I see out there. Oh, everything's wonderful. Everything's good. We have such a wonderful energy. No. Things are fucked up out there. And we have to realize that they are fucked up out there. And the only way that you can get away from that fucked upness out there is by doing that, by separating yourself from these people who are negative and getting them out of your life and moving on and not caring about all the shit that's going on over in Afghanistan or whatever. It's like that. That's you don't live there. Don't worry about that shit. And stop getting on Facebook and reposting all the children that are missing, because you find out they're not missing, but those posts are getting posted every frickin' day, and they're still going on for 3 years. So 3
years later, I mean, and it's just living in a there's a lot of fear based in our culture, and it's perpetuating that same shit. And I mean, it's like, come on, folks, wake up, because the fact is, the only reason that we're in a shitstorm right now is because you're not listening.
Right. Yeah. And that shitstorm's going to continue as long as they keep putting up with this shit and putting it out there and getting angry at each other for dumb things.
Right.
Yep. So tell my listeners where they can find you, and any type of things that you want to plug. You go ahead and plug, because this is the Jessica show, and it is not. I need to shut the fuck up. So go ahead.
All right. So you can find me at clairvoyantjess.com. I'm on pretty much all the social media networks, but website has a link to all those things. Anybody that is a beginning intuitive or knows that they have, want some sort of a better connection with spirit, I've got a special 1-hour class coming up on September the 16th or 17th. It's called Spirit Speaks, and it's how to create your own specific language with your spirit guides and angels, so that you'll actually understand the crap that they're actually trying to tell you. And you'll also understand that not every song that comes on the radio is a message.
Right.
So it's really starting to create that language with spirit, and some basic, just general guidelines and rules of how to, receive and understand some messages. But I don't do those 1-hour classes very often. I generally do like 6-week and 8-week courses, but that one's gonna be a super special one, and it's got early bird pricing right now for I think it was $44 for an hour class.
Wow, good for you.
Class, but it's a good deal, and they'll get a recording afterwards so that they can watch it if they can't make the live event.
So is that a like a Zoom type course that you're doing?
It's going to be a Google Meet, but so it'll be through Google Meet, because I fired Zoom because they couldn't do what I wanted them to do.
If you send the link to that class that you're going to do soon, because this show is going to be a recorded show, so by the time it comes out, it's going to be pretty by the closer to the end of the year. But if you send me that link now, like in my messenger or something like that,
Okay.
I'll just continue to post it out there so that people can get
Awesome.
it, so they can do it now, because I want them to be able to get the information as quick as they can, and I don't want it to get be too late for them to not be able
Yeah.
to take the course for you.
I would love to. I'll send that to you, and then of course, if there is always the free registration for the consultation or the one-on-one, direct classes that I do with just individual people. So, but I do videos on YouTube. I've got a new show that'll be launching. I'll be having a new episode coming up called Ghostly Encounters. So you can find that on regional prime television, and every once in a while, I'll throw a podcast out there, but it's the Spiritual Shit Show.
It is a spiritual. What's that big rock you got in your hand there?
This one?
No, you had it.
Oh, that's my bait.
That's what is that one? Did you have there on your neck? It's huge, man.
This is an aqua aura quartz, is what that one is.
What does it do?
It is good for intuitive connection. It is good for to give you calm and peace within your energy and balance. So, but I'm very drawn to this one right now. So it changes as times go. So,
is it on a good chain? So if somebody does try to come near you that you don't want, you could smack them in the head with it.
Yeah,
it looks like it's probably heavy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You want it to be a good weapon, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, actually, it's got a really sharp point to it, too. I could probably just stab him in the eye.
Oh, awesome. So you could poke him right there in the neck and be
stab
done
him
with
right
it.
in the eyeball and we'll be good.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's a good thing. All right, Jessica, it's been wonderful to have you on my show today. I'm glad that we got to do this. I know we had to postpone, but you know what? That's life, buddy. That's just... Not everything's going to be on the schedule or on the plan that we want to get going, so we just have to roll with it. But everything in that end turned out well, which is good, and everything is good. So I'm glad you were here, and I will post all of your links on the show with this, and then when we get it done, I will actually send you the link for the show as well. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, right. You can. Right. You're just going to want to watch. You're going to want to watch what I'm seeing over here, and I'm surprised I don't have a towel or a drool cup with me, because man, holy shit. But just saying, man. But I'm glad you were on here, and I hope everyone will have a great day. And this is Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson, me and Jessica King. Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too. Bye. Be good and don't do any stupid shit.
Well, can't guarantee it.
Okay, never mind. Bye.
For more information on Jessica, visit her website at clairvoyantjess.com. That's clairvoyantjess.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson.